I was doing a puzzle rush to start off, so let's do one more puzzle rush and then we'll get back to our regular content. Okay, let's do one more, try to get a 60. Takes, that's good. Check and mate, there we go. Takes, that's good. Checkmate, that's good. Checkmate, checkmate. Check, takes, that's good. Checkmate, there we go. Checkmate, there we go. I'll make a queen. Takes, that's good. Should be checkmate. Takes, that's good. Checkmate, that's good. Wait, what is this? Check and mate, there we go. Okay. It's good. Checkmate. Good. F6 takes, that's good. What is this? Check and mate, that's good. Mate. Wait, I guess you take and take the queen, that's good. Checkmate. What am I doing? Check and mate, that's good. Black pawn's going up the board, I guess. That's good. Takes. Good. It's good. It's good. Good. King b8, that's good. Supposed to check first. What is this puzzle? The heck is this? Queen e7? Let's do one more. I don't know what that was. It's weird. Check, that's good. Takes. Let's do one more. Take the queen. Mate. 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 Check, take the queen, very good. Check and mate, there we go. Checkmate. Checkmate. Checkmate, there we go. Check and mate, that's good. Check and mate, that's good. Mate. Mate, that's good. Mate, that's good. Mate, that's good. Takes, that's good. That's good. That's good. My mouse, check and mate. There we go. That's good. Wait, check and mate. That's good. What is this? Bishop f4. It's just rook e2, I guess, and take the bishop. Checkmate. That's good. Takes. That's good. Good. That's good. Mate, that's good. Checkmate, that's good. Should just be here. Take the knight, that's good. Check. Check. Takes. That's good. This should be check and mate, of course. Check. Check and mate. There we go. Check and mate. That's good. So queen e1 and queen g3 is a queen g3 right away. That's good. Okay, this white's playing win. That's good. That's good. Mate, that's good. That's good. Good. That's good. That's good. Is it queen a5, knight c3, or is it knight e4 first? Good. C6, queen f8. No, rook d8. No, queen f8. Checkmate. That's good. I was supposed to take the rook first. That's good. Okay, g7. Checkmate. That's good. D8. Take the queen. That's good. No.
Omega underscore Woods just took $5 out of Bezos's pocket. Thanks. Hey.
Good. No, I've got no time. 54, very bad performance. Very bad performance from me. Should have done better. Very, very poor. I'm overperforming these puzzles. No, I got 59 the other day, but 54 is just not very good. That was terrible. Yeah. Since when is 54 bad? I mean, I got 59 the other day, so 54 is definitely a big underperformance. It's a big underperformance. Probably statistically, it's probably a statistical anomaly, right? Yeah, statistically, it's a statistical anomaly going the wrong direction. Thank you, Darren Hodge, for the prime. Thank you, Omega Whisper 27. Thank you, T-Halot for the 8 months. Appreciate it. All right, my highest, I think, was 59 on 3-minute puzzles. Thank you to Pooh Valley for the 24 months. Appreciate it. Yeah, but my mouse is not warmed up. So the mouse isn't super warm, but it is what it is. It's terrible for a GM. Calm down, not for you. Yeah, exactly. No, for you guys, 54 is amazing. Actually, can I tell you guys something? Hopefully someone's not listening in the other room. But I'm gonna tell you something embarrassing. So out in the kitchen area, my stepfather, who's actually here, I saw him doing puzzles on his laptop, and he was doing it with his hand on a touch screen. He was doing puzzles with his hand. He's like touching the knight to the square on his screen. So let's just say, yeah, I mean, if he got 54, there's probably something wrong. But anyway, yeah. Am I covering Syncful today? Maybe a little bit later. We always have, I always play your dad in Puzzle Battle on chess.com. Exactly. And he's using his finger to touch the screen. So, anyway, yeah, how many did he get? I don't know. Thinking of Willie Siles, but I think he was like a 17 or 18. He's not a GM. He used to be 2300. He's not super young anymore. So I think he's getting like 20-ish with the touch screen, but whatever. All right, you guys, so we're gonna move on. We have some stuff to cover before Bullet Brawl starts in about 23 minutes. Let's move on. So first things first, we have an article we're gonna cover. So let me stop the music and change the scene. Go to this. Does this look better? This looks better. Okay, let me stop the music for a second. So we have an article. I saw this was sent to me earlier. I saw this article. This is actually an article from a data science. They did an article, I think, also. Let me see. They did an article recently, I think, as well, about cheating. Someone from, I believe, Zurich, if I'm not mistaken, ironically enough. So let's go through this. This is pretty dang. It's, I think, fairly technical. So we'll go through it. This is an article written by Dorian Quell. He is currently pursuing his PhD in quantitative network science at University of Zurich's Department of Mathematics and a member of the Digital Society Initiative. So this guy is pursuing his PhD, clearly a genius. Actually, I'll talk about a Reddit thing separately as well, but clearly a genius, unlike all us fools in chess who think we're like special or we're geniuses. We are not geniuses, but this guy probably is. So, all right, let's jump right into this article. So it's called Title Tuesday Cheating Part 2, the fantastic cheaters and where to find them. Fantastic cheaters and where to find them using the ELO system to detect cheating in Title Tuesday tournaments. All right, this guy has 2,700 data. Okay, here we go. So, introduction. A month ago, I published a blog article discussing why I do not think that there is any statistical evidence of widespread cheating in Title Tuesday tournaments. I did not say that cheating is non-existent. I simply showed that looking at the data, the claim that a significant percentage of players are consistently using engine evaluations is unfounded. Since then, a former world champion published an hour-long video and accused Hikaru Nakamura of cheating. Chess.com increased their efforts to catch cheaters, and the chess community has been in an uproar. The methodology I used in the last post closely aligned with the one reportedly used by a team of mathematicians of a former world champion who sparked this debate. The internet and I were, however, not satisfied by this methodology. The most salient counter-argument arising from the discussion was that this methodology would not catch smart cheaters who use the engine evaluation only in critical positions or once or twice per game. Something that Fabiano Caruana said in his podcast piqued my interest. He claimed that first, cheating has only taken off after the chess hype in November 2020, where significant amounts of money were suddenly to be gained from online chess. Second, he stated that while cheating has increased online, it has not increased offline. So the statistical minds among you will immediately see that this is a perfect opportunity for a difference in difference analysis. We have 4 conditions: first and second time period, online and offline. We can compare the change in cheating between online and offline and see if there is a significant difference. All right. This much more robust methodology does not relieve us from defining some measure of cheating. Elo is an amazing system, predicting the winning probability of a player based on their and their opponent's past performance. If there are cheaters online, this would be reflected in the Elo expectation of a game's result becoming less predictive of the true outcome of a game. A 2400 playing like a 2600 against a 2700 player would increase their winning chances from 15.09 to 35.9. Now, fun fact about this little stat, actually, I have played someone online who I have said I think is going to be a 2600. There's this Turkish kid, I think it's Erdogas. He's like 12 years old. He's like incredibly good. His username is the legend is back. He's currently 2496 FIDE, but he is going to be a 2600 plus player. And when I actually played him yesterday, I got spanked hard in the 2 games that we played. I think I still have a winning record against him overall. But nonetheless, it's very, very close because he is not playing like a 2400 against me, because he is not a 2400. He is going to be a 2600 plus player for sure. Yagiz Khan Erdogas, I think is his name, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very talented junior. But again, he's playing like a 2600 against me, not a 2400. So this makes a lot of sense actually when I look at this first stat. Legend is back when he's like 3100 online. He's 12 years old. He's going to be a god. In contrast to my previous blog article, this methodology does not examine any individual player. It merely investigates whether the statistical probabilities of the Elo system have changed, and thereby prove whether cheating has increased or not. The amazing thing about this methodology is that it does not matter how many cheaters cheat as long as they do so in a way that changes their winning chances. There is, however, one problem. Let's assume a 2400 has found a way to calibrate the amount of cheating to reliably play at level of 2600. We would no longer find any statistical incongruencies in the Elo system. Therefore, we need to match title players to their official offline FIDE rating. We can then compare how the winning chances of these players have changed between the 2 time periods with a rating that is unpolluted by cheating on online servers. Before diving into the data and results, 2 aspects need highlighting. First, online and offline chess naturally differ in expected ways. More flagging, pre-move, streaming distractions, etc. Second, the pre and post hype eras are likely different as new players joined, rating shifted, and motivations varied. We intentionally disregard these predictable differences. We are solely interested in the differences between the changes in Elo accuracy over time, online versus offline. This is known as a difference in difference analysis. Not going to pretend to understand what this means exactly, but let's keep going. To understand why, consider a famous minimum wage study. Economists David Card and Alan Kruger compared unemployment rates before and after New Jersey raised its minimum wage versus Pennsylvania, which did not. If unemployment rose in both states, it would reflect broader economic trends, not the wage change. And just comparing unemployment rates would not isolate the wage impact from other changing factors. By comparing the difference in the change in unemployment between states, they isolate the wage impact from the broader economic factors. Now, one great thing about this actually is that this reminds me of some years back, actually, I was in St. Louis, and one of the biggest sponsors of chess, his name is Rex Singfield, and one of the things he's been advocating for a long time is that St. Louis get rid of the, first of all, St. Louis gets rid of the city tax, but then that Missouri should get rid of the state income tax. And I remember reading some articles from the Show Me Institute that Rex provided for me, and they were trying to compare Missouri to, I think, Tennessee, if I remember correctly, because Tennessee is one of the states that does not have a state income tax. So this is actually kind of interesting to me to see them use like a real world comparison here, because to me, when I was reading the Show Me Institute's papers on, I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, Tennessee doesn't have state income tax, but there are definitely some differences between Missouri and Tennessee. But anyway, let's keep going. Similarly, we compare how Elo accuracy has changed over time, online versus offline. This methodology isolates potential impact of cheating online versus online realities, online chess. We purely examine whether Elo became a weaker predictor online versus offline after the 2020 boom. Okay. Data, online chess. Title Tuesday has been running since, let me scroll up so you guys can see it. Title Tuesday has been running since 2014. I downloaded 540,666 unique Title Tuesday games and results from chess.com. Wow. 540,000 games. That is insane. We are only interested in the usernames of white and black players. Elo of white and black players will replicate these with FIDE ratings, result of the game, and finally the data of the game. Okay, to match the players with their FIDE rating, download a complete list using API. There are 11,820 title players across various ranges. Okay. Subsequently, modest sample size of 540,000 games. Insane. Now, I'm going to, if I have time, I want to talk about one other thing as well after we cover this. But this is one thing that I think has changed. Everybody is playing so many games online that I think improvement is legitimately a true thing. And I'll talk about it in relation, if we have time, to Tyler 1 and a whole separate topic. But let's keep going. My audio is coming in slightly before my cam. It should be okay. Actually, let's keep going. Okay, subsequently I download all the information about the players. Most players list their name and federation on their profile. They match the information with the FIDE data set. In total, 68-72 had a very close match in the FIDE list with their federation and title matching up. Okay, number of match players by country. There are dozens of articles discussing the ratings. Please do not overinterpret the following GIF. It is only supposed to show how strong the correlation between the two variables are and will not tell you what the FIDE rating would be. Again, I'm not going to pretend to understand this because I'm not a data scientist. Someone who is a data scientist would understand this. I have no idea what this actually means. So let's keep going. Offline chess. To establish an offline baseline, I use the opening master database containing roughly 10 million historical and contemporary games played. I filtered this database to only include matches from Blitz or Rapid. Blitz or Rapid tournaments. This results in a list of 232,881 offline games. It shows 3 regressions of chess.com ratings with FIDE, Blitz, Rapid, Classical. In general, chess.com ratings are always higher than their FIDE counterparts. No surprise there, and the rating difference decreases with a higher rating. Okay, more graphics. The map showcases all the games played. They scatter points in Europe and the US are roughly proportional to the number of games played in this location. If your city is missing, I'm sorry. By the way, so actually now we're gonna do just like geography for 5 seconds. So it's very clear that in the United States of America, we do not play chess that much. Like, this is New York. Obviously, big shout out to all my fellow New Yorkers. I did grow up in New York. So this is this big red dot is New York up here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. This is this like, am I gonna actually get my geography of the US wrong? This looks like I think this is like Chicago right here, this big dot. I think you can see my cursor. I think this is like Chicago-ish, right? This is Chicago-ish. Is that Minnesota above it? Is that Minnesota? No, Minnesota's more center. That's is that Green Bay? Is that like Wisconsin above it? This one is Chicago, right? It's Michigan. Wait, people actually play chess in Michigan? No offense to Michigan. It is okay. TIL Hikaru's European. Anyway, okay, they play there. They play down here near Georgia. Why are they playing so much chess down near Georgia? That's interesting. And these are not spots. And by the way, look at Mexico. Apparently, people in Mexico are playing a lot of chess too. Who knew? But that's great to see. Anyway, all right, let's just go to the results. Okay, the top spots for the biggest upsets are all held by blank. Wait. Are held by blank blank blank, who entered Title Tuesday tournament with an astounding rating of 100. He defied the odds when he beat blank 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 2600 plus, with the ELO system giving him an expected outcome of 0.0002%. I'm redacting the name in case it's a data entry error and not sandbagging. Okay, so biggest upsets. Hikaru has the biggest upset. He lost to MBK90, who had a rating of 2075. The odds of this are 892 to 1. David Howell, also known as Howitzer 14, has the second one. He lost to Sunny Start, rated 2078, 230 to 1 odds. Hans Niemann has the third one, losing to the Magician, rated 2148, 109 to 1. I'm not going to click on the games. Nemo has the fourth highest. She lost to an 1800 Enrique Bugatti, 57 to 1. Daniel Naroditsky has the fifth one, 57 to 1. He lost to Mustafa Farid, 2004. Actually, this looks like one of these kids born 2004, 2516. Okay. Then we have Ali Reza losing to Agnes, 666, 78, 2461, 42 to 1, and so forth. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. This table showcases the biggest upsets performance. Now we have a complete data. Now that we have the complete data, we can look at the overall performance of each player. Magnus Carlsen, 3266, 82.35. Second, Hikaru Nakamura, 3195, 81.38. Third, Sib Elephant Vladislav Artemiev, 80.44. Fourth, Jan Nepomniachtchi. Fifth, Wesley So. Sixth, Faruja. Seventh, Fabiano Jan Krzysztof Duda, Dmitry Andreikin, Daniil Dubov, Maxim Vashlegrov, Alexander Grishuk, David Howell. So when we actually look at this, when we look at this list, when I look at like the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all these players are very established and very strong. And as expected, Magnus Carlsen, best player in the world, has the best win rate. Not really a surprise, actually, when you look at it. David Howell is 83%. That's not interesting. I don't think. I don't know what this is. This is complete data, but I'm betting David Howell's performance is also probably based on a handful of events. So okay. Oh, but that's win rate. So that means the actual win rates, not winning the tournament, right? That doesn't mean winning the tournament. That means the win rate itself. So if he's just spanking the 2600s and he loses to Magnus in the final round, he's playing less. So if he plays, let's just say David Howell plays five Title Tuesdays and he scores like 10 out of 11, but he loses the final round to Magnus every single time. That means from 5 events he has a great performance, but Magnus is playing every week, I'm playing every week, so it does make sense. Okay, it could be a typo, possibly. Nothing interesting there. This table shows top ranked players, Title Tuesday, parentheses, etc. And it says Hikaru elo rating calibration. Ideally, elo predictions should be extremely close with the empirical results that we see. If we predict that a player has an expected score of 0.2 averaged over a large number of games, the observed score should be exactly 0.2. But in reality, elo suffers from significant biases. See, for example, statistician Jeff Sona's investigation into the elo system. Oh, it's probably a typo. Okay. Oh, it's a typo. That's disappointing. I'll put the link in chat so you guys can see it. There you go. It's on GitHub. Okay, chess.com expected versus actual. So it says performance or prediction error in this one versus offline. So it's assuming the offline model, I assume, is perfect. So it's prediction error. It says, note, I calculate the expected score always based on the winning probability of white, as the formula does not take into account the fact that white is more likely to win. The expected score is slightly overestimated. We see the same error for chess.com. Even with much higher activity and more sophisticated rating system, chess.com still suffers from the same biases. However, this is not a problem for our analysis. We're not interested in the absolute expected score, but rather the change in the expected score between the two time periods and conditions, online versus offline. Okay, rating calibration. As cheaters will have a rating that's higher than their true rating, we need an external data source for the ratings. As discussed in the introduction, we download all available FIDE ratings, match up to chess.com ratings, and we keep going. And it says chess.com ratings, FIDE blitz ratings. Again, I don't particularly understand what this is saying. Expected ratings, expected result. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what this means. I got to be honest. I'm not a statistician. But I feel like it should be very close to the middle line, right? The caption below the graphs explains it. The figure displays the calibration of chess.com ratings compared to different FIDE ratings. Unsurprisingly, best source data are the chess.com ratings with a mean absolute error of 0.35. In second place are the FIDE blitz ratings with an absolute mean error of 0.38. FIDE standard wrap rating is slightly worse with a mean error of 0.39. The fact that FIDE ratings are roughly comparable to the chess.com ratings in terms of calibration is a great sign, as it means that we can use FIDE ratings to estimate the expected score of a game. Okay, error over time. Okay, so we have some errors. It says the figure shows the error of 4 different conditions. First, the blue line represents prediction error using chess.com ratings. Second, the green, red, yellow represent error over time using the official FIDE ratings for the online games. Lastly, black line shows the error over time. Again, I'm not going to pretend to understand what this is saying exactly. I see him in Chess Boom is right here in the middle. Black Grab is offline, so I mean I see that the line is less straightforward. I don't know if that means much, but it's yeah, so the mean is 0.38 is the mean error, right? So it's saying the blue line is most predictable, if I understood above. I think so. This is class A geometry. I don't claim to be a genius or understand most of this, but again, it's interesting to see. So it says that chess.com ratings are much more accurate due to a higher activity online. This is not surprising. However, we all see the error for offline games is lower than the error for online games. Visually, we do not see any difference between the pre-hype and post-hype period. Okay, interesting. So it's basically saying there's no big difference in this line versus this line before and after. Okay. Analysis, difference in difference. To test whether there's a significant difference between the change in error between the online and offline games, we run a difference in difference regression. The dependent variable is the error of the prediction. The independent variables are the time period, pre-hype versus post-hype, the condition, online versus offline, and the interaction between the two. The interaction term is the difference in difference. If the difference in difference is significant, we can conclude there's a significant difference between the change in error between the online and offline games. Okay, 0.332, 0.332 across the board. 0.01, 0.019, 0.055, 0.665. Okay, so again, doesn't look like a massive difference if I'm understanding this correctly, but I'm not going to pretend to understand it. So let's keep going. The figure displays the results from all 4 regressions, comparing the prediction error using chess.com blitz, rapid, and classical ratings. In no condition do we find any evidence of cheating. Quite the opposite. The error actually drops for the online condition while it rises for the offline conditions. Wait, what? Wait a second. What? Wait, is he saying what I think he's saying? I mean, is this guy saying what I think he's saying? Is he saying that online is actually like perfect? The error actually drops for online condition while it rises for the offline conditions. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not. I mean, of course, we can see if that's what he says. More cheating off. I'm not. Again, this is this guy's paper. I'm not going to speculate. But if I read the sentence correctly, isn't he saying that he's saying that online is perfect or more consistent? Nothing to do with cheating. Oh, he's just saying they're much more consistent online versus offline. Less error, not no error. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Conclusion. In my previous blog, because I mean, I'd be pretty skeptical of that. Like, I'd be pretty skeptical about that, honestly. But it says, in my previous blog, I laid out why I'm convinced that the allegations of pervasive and consistent computer-assisted cheating do not hold water. In this article, I analyzed whether there's any indication that cheating increased after the chess boom in 2020 by running a difference in difference analysis. Comparing online games to offline games, I found no evidence of cheating. In fact, the error of the prediction actually dropped for the online games while it increased for the offline games. I am convinced that there is no evidence that cheating increased after the chess boom in 2020 compared to the offline baseline. I am also convinced that there is no evidence of pervasive and consistent computer-assisted cheating in Title Tuesday tournaments. Wow. Okay. So he has a simulation. I simulate a tournament of 500 players playing 22 rounds early and late Title Tuesday. Players have normally distributed ELO ratings. However, a variable amount of people are cheating. They still have an official ELO rating, but play according to another ELO rating and thereby change the probable outcome. The right pane shows the average prediction error. And it's it's average error. We're already able to detect cheating with relative confidence, where when only 500 people are cheating. If 10% of people are cheating, we can detect it with almost 100% confidence, even if the cheaters are only playing at a level of 2600 ELO. And the last bit, Glicko versus ELO. Nerd alert! Chess.com actually uses the Glicko instead of the ELO rating system. Glicko takes into account how volatile your rating is and how many games you have played. The formulae for the expected score of a game in ELO are not the same. However, for active chess players, the expected score estimation in Glicko doesn't differ significantly from ELO. This is because the rating deviation, a measure of uncertainty in a player's rating, tends to be low for players who compete frequently. With a low RD, the Glicko expected score formula, which adjusts for player reliability, is roughly equivalent to the ELO formula. Therefore, for the purpose of estimating expected scores, not the rating changes, the difference between using Glicko and ELO is minimal for active players. Because I do not have access to the RD of the players, I will use the ELO formulae to estimate the expected score of a game. All right. So there's more data to be analyzed offline. That's why less error, more info to assimilate doesn't mean online is more predictive of actual rating. Okay. So interesting blog written by Dorian Quell. He's at University of Zurich, quantitative network science, pursuing a PhD in mathematics, it looks like. So I didn't understand a lot of that, but I guess his main takeaway is saying, at least from the data, there's nothing to suggest that it's different. That's it seems like from his from what he's saying, his conclusion, that at least from the data, there's nothing to suggest that it's any different now than it was before. Now, for me personally, I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit skeptical about this, but it sort of does run in line with what chess.com is saying too. The bullet brawl is gonna be starting in a second, so let me change the scene. Anyway, let's move on, you guys. So let's move on. So over the weekend, bunch of more random nonsense came out. So let's take a look at it. Let me change the scene and let's go from the top. So give me a second. Here we go. So first things first, this weekend got off to an interesting start on I think it was Saturday when Kramnik made this post, which I think you guys can see on the scene, which is, have just watched this video recorded a few years ago. Hope everyone cheats, well, the courage to help publicly as Baron at least. Hope his opponent drawing against computer in the game was found and banned as well. Now, a couple of things. I did see this post on the weekend from Kramnik. Now, first things first, I can try to be generous and give Kramnik the benefit of the doubt and think that he was referring to something different, but my general takeaway is that he was not. So first things first, he talks about a video and let me pull this down and pull this up. So yeah, he was referring to a video of somebody who cheated many years ago in 2015 by the name of Tal Baron. Now, Tal Baron put out a video. He talked about his cheating. I'm not going to go through the video itself, but there was one critical moment where he spoke about cheating. And very specifically, he referred to he referred to his cheating. He said that he was on 8 out of 8 points, and in round 9 he was paired versus an obvious engine user, and he cheated with an engine. So first things first, unfortunately, I think Kramnik probably did not watch this video in depth, and he was trying to make a different insinuation, but let's go through all the details. So first things first, the event that Baron was referring to in his video was this event entitled Tuesday. And this was an event where he was on 8 points out of 8 points going into the last round. It was titled Tuesday, October 6th of 2015. Now, in round number 9, he did draw his game with 8 out of 8. He drew against the number 9 seed, which would be Faku 57, rated 25-38, and IM here. He drew this game and he won the tournament with 8.5, but of course that player was not me. So that's the first thing. That's the stop saying first things first. Okay, apologies. But anyway, all right, so this is the game that Tal Baron is referring to in the video. But Kramnik, I think, he found that I had actually played a game against Tal Baron, and I actually remember going back to these days of 2015. There were 2 GMs who were playing a lot of the title Tuesdays in the early days. Those 2 players amongst the top were myself and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. So now both of us were quite concerned about Tal Baron at any point. But the reason I think Kramnik brought this up actually had nothing to do with the number 9 player in this event. I think Kramnik was referring to a different game, which was a game that I played against Tal Baron actually all the way back in 2015. Now again, Kramnik has his facts wrong, but I do believe that we should not take what he says in good faith. I think he's doing it on purpose. And so he's probably referring to this game that I drew against Tal Baron in a title Tuesday, and not actually the event that Tal Baron is referring to in his video. Now, first things, I was about to say first thing. Sorry, apologies. I shouldn't say that because I annoyed you guys. But the main thing, so I have a game here which is 26 moves. I get absolutely blasted off the board, 98.3 versus 77.1. Now I also did play Tal Baron on August 4th of 2015, and let's take a look at this game. Or wait, wrong. There we go. There's the game. All right. So first things first about this game. Keep saying again. Scramble language. Okay, so let me ask people a important question. Let me adjust the chat as well, because this is a question that I want to see how many people here have actually watched my stream in depth. Okay, draw versus cheater equals you cheater automatically, yes, but this is the thing. So let's say you're playing someone who's cheating. How do you survive against someone who's cheating? How do you survive? Let me ask chat. The video should be synced with me, but how do you survive? Because I've played many people in Arena Kings and other events. How do you survive? You flag them. Yes, so you flag them. So people say hippo. Okay, hippo and flag. Now, what does that mean in general terms? That means that you move really, really quickly and you close the position. So let's go through this game, okay? We're not going to go really deep through it. Anyway, pretty standard opening. I bring the queen back. You can see that it's a little bit different. I get this little hedgehog position, but you'll notice that my time is very high here. We do have the timestamps of this game. I'm over 3 minutes at the start of this game. Cheat too, good one. So clog the toilet. Yeah. So what has happened here? We end up with this position where we end up with a clogged position. It's closed position, and already here we're only 15 moves into the game, and I'm already up over 1 minute on the clock. So why I tilt down to 2800? This is back in the old days. So let's just keep going. Okay, already here you can tell I'm a little bit worse, but there are some mistakes obviously that are made here. But he's now under 1 minute, and I have 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So you can tell from this game very clearly that I thought that there was something wrong with this game because I never moved this quickly. So I'm making every move immediately, every move. Anyway, somewhere in this middle I do have one chance where apparently the computer says I'm okay. I guess here bishop g4, I guess knight c4 makes more sense, where computer actually says I'm a little bit better here if I play the very obvious move king g2 or bishop g4. But anyway, I play bishop a1. Okay, apparently here I'm better for move if I trade everything off. I play rook b3, we get knight b6 takes. I play bishop g4, rook b8, rook takes, bishop d1 here, get h5. Now already you can tell not a very good position, but my one hope here is that I'm still on 2 minutes and 22 seconds and my opponent is down to 32 seconds. So I go king g2, get queen a6, bishop e2, and mistake, we get bishop h6, rook c4, queen b5, and you can tell that now it's really starting to get very bad for me. I play rook c2, we get queen b1, and by the way, of course, this is where I spend a bit of time on these moves, and now I play a4 after a 30-second thing. Now, one of the great things is that Dubov did point this out, actually, speaking of someone who's mentioned this topic, where Indians were not as strong back in the old days versus now. That is absolutely legitimate. That is something that people will say. However, in some of these positions like this one specifically, we're in an endgame here. In endgames, most of the suggestions are going to be pretty similar and very straightforward positions like this where it's closed, not a lot of piece play, pawn structure very stable. So I've spent 30 seconds. I play a4 and we get c4 takes, we get knight c5, and as you guys can tell, it's getting really bad for me now I'm in a lot of trouble. So I play queen b1 after another 17-second thing, and rook b2 is the best move. So I trade the queens. I go rook a2, d3, Played bishop f3, and apparently bishop d3, and a5 is the best way to play this position. And computer says after rook b8, black's much better, but it's not lost. But no, I go bishop f3. We get d2 here, and now I play a5, and wrong move again. Apparently bishop c3 is the only move where I'm a little bit worse. So I play a5. No, I'm giving the like wrong. It's like the wrong answer when you answer a question wrong. So I play a5, and now I'm very lucky because he blunders with knight a6 here. Computer says after knight to d3, it's minus 3.27. I'm getting just blown away. So he plays knight a6. So now computer says 0.84 here. So I take, right? So now it's like I'm back in the game. He makes a queen, I take, and now I play rook b2, goes bishop g7, I trade, and now I play e5. And another big mistake here, because in this position, after rook a2, black is still better, but it's not clear cut. So I go e5, plays rook a1, rook b5, knight c7, rook c5, here, rook, knight c7. Big mistake, by the way. After rook a4, black is completely winning. So he plays knight c7. I go rook b7. Another, actually no, that is the best move. We get knight e6, and now I go rook a7, rook a4. I play a6, and here he blunders with this move, rook takes c4. Stop with an it's so annoying. Of course it's annoying, but that's the whole point. So here knight c5 is completely winning for black. So rook c4, rook b7, and now of course the position is very easy to play here because essentially black can't really do anything with the king. I can go f4, walk the king all the way back up the board, and the game does eventually end in a draw here after many more moves. I end up getting my king all the way up the board here, and eventually we end up with this position being a draw. So great game, right? I get outplayed the whole game. I'm in a lot of trouble, and I'm able to save the game simply because my opponent got low on time. Simply because he got low on time and he was not able to find the best moves. So that's the bottom line in general terms in terms of this game. Now again, I'm not going to be generous towards Kramnik specifically related to this game because even though he could be referring to a different event, based on other research that he's done, it seems very clear to me that someone probably mentioned in the video, Talbaran says he cheated, Hikaru drew him a title Tuesday game. Obviously that's proof that Hikaru is cheating. Unfortunately, as you can tell even from this game, I was getting cooked hard in this game. Very, very hard. I was very, very lucky to not lose this game. Nonetheless, Talbaran drew this game, and he did, I believe, win the title Tuesday. So that's the first little bit, and now let's keep moving on. So moving along, let's see, what else do we have? There was apparently a Kramnik video that he posted this morning in both English and Russian. Now, I'm not going to show the video itself because I don't feel like I really should be going into depth on this stuff. I feel like you're only giving visibility to someone who's making claims that are just not right. So I will, however, give you guys a TLDR on the whole video. The TLDR, which I did see on Reddit, so just to give credit to the person who wrote this, they said Kramnik wants an investigation by chess.com into Hikaru Nakamura's performance, as he feels like they're statistically unlikely, and he feels that chess.com doing this shows that they recognize no one is above reproach, that they take cheating seriously, and that it'll help end any speculation on this matter. As we'll have some hard data to work with. He's creating a petition for this and is inviting people to sign it. He argues that if they did it for Niemann, they can do it for Naka. Now, first problem, obviously, is that two situations are not the same. Obviously, Hans Niemann is an admitted cheater. He's someone who cheated online, and he admitted to it. That is not up for dispute. That is in the chess.com report, clear as black and white, or clear as night and day. That's the first thing. But let's keep going. So it says some of the performances that concern Kramnik and motivated him to speak up, aside from chess.com's lack of response to his private correspondence on the matter, are listed here. I guess there's a link. I don't know what that's. Is that a link to an image? Not sure. Oh yeah, it's a link to the image. Let me find. It was a link to my. It was linked to four of my results. Let me copy this. A new tab. To show this to you guys. Yeah, this is an IMGUR. So this is a stat thing. It says average rating of opponents result in consecutive games and the performance. So you'll see the average rating talking about the result and these very, very impressive looking numbers. Of course, infinity would apply no matter who it is. I suspect that people might say, they're like, wow, infinity, what does that mean? It's like playing at like 4,000 plus. It doesn't mean anything because in chess, if you have a perfect score, you have an infinity score. So Fabiano Caruana, who played in the Singfield Cup in 2014, when he started out 7 out of 7 in that event, he had an infinity score. His score was infinity. It was perfect. So he refers to these stats. Now, I will talk about this in a second, but let's just keep going with the TLDR. Let me find the TLDR. They say, I think had he started off doing this to begin with, he would have been better received. I do think it's a reasonable request to vet fantastic performances like Naka has, not necessarily each and every time they happen, but at least just once to show whether or not they're likely to happen at all. It saves others grief in the future if they are likely, and if they aren't, well, we know who to keep a closer eye on. I personally think it would be great to see chess.com do this, as they clearly did something similar for Neiman. I'm not a mathematician, so while I think Naka's performances are possible due to the human condition factor, intimidation, tilt, play style differences, etc., I don't know how that measures against what we can mathematically deduce. So having experts look into this and helping settle this is something I look forward to, even as someone on Naka's side. No, I don't need to read the TL. I'm just reading the TLDR for you guys, just so that you can you can see what I'm referring to. So yeah, so that's the TLDR. Now there are many problems. I mean, let me pull the stat up. There are many problems, but we're going to take it one step at a time. First big problem with what Kramnik is doing is Kramnik is someone who's from a different generation. He's not someone who grew up playing chess online. So because of that, Kramnik does not understand the massive difference between well, maybe he does because he's been flagged a million times, but Kramnik's played a lot of chess over the board. He has not played a lot of games online, so the difference between playing with an increment and playing without an increment is massive. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. Daniel Naroditsky, another streamer, commentator who everybody knows, he is one of the absolute best players in Blitz with no increment, or Bolt for that matter. When I played Dania at 3-0, I mean, I think I beat Dania on average, but Dania is somebody who is probably, in my estimation, he's on the edge of being number 3 in the world in Blitz. I would say Dania in 3-0 is number 3 in the world alongside Ali Reza. So I would say that Daniel is number 3 in the world alongside Ali Reza. Of course, they can go back and forth, but without increment, he is easily number 3 online with no increment. Now, if Daniel were to play online with increment, he's actually played in some of the SEC qualifiers, etc. I would say that Dania is not even maybe top 20 in the world. Not even top 20 in the world with increment. And that's just because with increment, there are a lot of these tricks, or what I think Bortnick referred to as the dark arts, which I'll talk about in a second. But these dark arts tricks matter a lot less. It's more about the objective moves and the quality of the moves themselves, whereas without increment, there are a lot of times in a game where you start making moves where you know the game will drag on, you know the mouse speed is going to come into play, and it is a very different situation. The dark arts, yeah, I'll give you one. I'll try to give you guys one example of that in a second, but that's the first thing, increment versus non-increment. Second thing is offline versus online, which I'm going to talk about, which is in terms of online ratings, people have to realize that these ratings correlate with the number of games you play. And actually, when I look at the stat, you know what Kramnik should have done when he looked at the stat? He should have looked at the stat. He should have looked at these 2,900 players, and he should have been, wait a second. Like one of these guys that I beat, the Ardar 16 or whatever he is, his blitz rating over the board is 2167. His blitz rating is 2167. My blitz rating over the board is something like 2870, I guess, or something like that. I don't know exactly. So you're talking about a 700 point differential there. So if Kramnik really wanted to actually, if he was doing this in good faith and trying to actually figure out what's going on, he should be looking at the players who get these ratings as high, because the truth is there are 2900s that I will play against where I am not going to put up these scores, and there are other 2900s where I can just crush them game after game after game after game. And for everybody who's watching the other day specifically, you'll notice that after playing like 1 or 2 games, I could tell, does this guy have a style that's dangerous? Do I want to play a lot of games? How many games do I want to play? So that's the main thing, is that you have to realize online versus offline. But then there's also another very important point which Kramnik misses, and there's this concept called farming. Now, Kramnik was basically saying that a lot of people have less games and they don't have streaks like mine. There is a very good reason for this as well. Now, if you log on to the internet, let's just say you're a top player. I'm just going to use Fabiano as an example. If you're Fabiano Caruana, okay, and you come online to play chess, okay, you come online to play chess. What is Fabiano doing when he plays chess online? Fabiano really has only like two or three things that he can do. Number one, play a tournament like Title Tuesday, play for prize money. Obviously, like you want to play against the best players, you want to try to win some money. Additionally, you might just want to play some practice games against other top players just so that you feel like you're in form right before a big event, whatever it might be. Like everyone's done this. Fabiano's done it. I've done it. It's like right before you play the St. Louis Rapid Blitz or something, you get online, you get on chess.com, you play a bunch of Blitz games against like the 3,000 level players, try to warm up for the event. So those are the two main reasons. Now, if you're Fabiano, do you want to log online and waste hours and hours trying to farm someone, beat them for +1, where if you basically slip on a banana pill, you lose 15 points? No, because first of all, you're playing someone much weaker, so it's not really a challenge. You know you're going to win. The goal is to just basically not slip on the banana peel. Because if you slip on the banana peel, you lose 15 points, and then you're mad at yourself. You win like 6-7 games, you lose one game, you lose 15. You're like, wait a second, I just wasted an hour of my life. What am I even doing? Like, what am I even doing? Why do this? However, for people who are streamers, very specifically myself as well as Daniel Naroditsky, it's completely different, because when we get adoption, when we play these blitz games, crushing people actually makes for very good content. So that's the other thing that Kramnik does not understand when it comes to farming. So like Magnus Carlsen's a good example too. Of course, Magnus doesn't play a lot of blitz. Why would Magnus play someone at 2600 and just beat them over and over again? It doesn't do anything for Magnus. It doesn't. He's not a content creator. So for Magnus specifically, he's not going to do it. Fabiano's not going to do it. But Danya has content to make. I have content to make. So we do that because farming is fun. It makes for a good video. If you adopt someone and beat them 10 in a row, it's a great video. So that's another part that he misses. And then the last part that I will refer to, and I think people mention this in statistics, obviously for the millionth time I will say this, I'm obviously not a data scientist, but I did see a lot of people commenting, and they were saying that essentially when you look at streaks, essentially they're not, it's something called like independent event. And I think a good way of looking at it as an independent event is like you look at Title Tuesday. Nobody ever has had 2 back-to-back scores of 11 and 0. I've done it, Magnus has done it, we've done it once, and then we have not been able to do it more than one time. What is the reason for that? It's because A, those are actually independent events, and B, there's no psychology because you're playing completely different players, and they're very strong. They're not weak players too. Like in Title Tuesday, you're playing the best players. Thank you, Chess Dojo, for the raid with 100 viewers. Appreciate it. So beating people is fun, yeah. So that's the thing. Like when you look at when you look at it, those are independent events. When you play in Title Tuesday, so of course nobody's ever done it. I've done it like twice. Magnus has done it twice or 3 times. But we never have gone like 40 out of 40 or whatever it might be. So that's the other part of it. And then it's like general psychology. I find it very, very ironic that Kramnik seems to not. Thank you. Kramnik seems to not understand psychology either, because considering that psychology is one of the biggest reasons that Kramnik beat Garry Kasparov in their match, and what I mean by that is like the psychology game that Kramnik understood was like Kasparov could not admit that he couldn't tear down the Berlin Wall. So Kasparov ego-wise could not understand, so he kept going to the same line, wasn't able to break through. Kramnik won a couple of games with the white pieces, won the match. So the psychology is a big thing. Actually, I would argue that when I play people like 10 games in a row, if they lose the first 4 or 5 games, there's going to be a game in the next 2 or 3 where they lose a game and they blunder on like move 10. They blunder in the first 20 moves because you start getting tilted, you start blundering, you start making mistakes. And that is just a part of the game. And then of course when you're much weaker as well, it becomes extremely hard to overcome. That's just the bottom line. So that's really pretty much all that I have to say on the topic. Again, I mean, I think chess.com does actually look at the games that I play, the games that Magnus plays. I think they look at the winners of Title Tuesday. I think it goes on and on. Go full screen, I could. But the bottom line is I do think chess.com looks at it. In fact, I'm very proud that like all these games I've played, I think they do get analyzed. I do think they set a baseline. For example, if you look at all the online games that are played, you look at the Champions Chess Tour even. I know when it was Chess 24, those games were analyzed by Ken Regan, I believe, at FIDE. I assume they still are. You play over the board. Also, in every contract you sign, it says the games are submitted to the Fair Play team. Chess.com, of course, a little bit different, obviously, because it's not FIDE. But nonetheless, chess.com, I do believe, looks at all the games, and I expect chess.com to look at the games. I hope they look at the games because there's nothing there. That's the bottom line. So that's really all that I think I have to say, broadly speaking. I think the one last thing I'm gonna end with, because I don't want to spend too much more time on this, is, you know, Kramnik keeps making these little like baiting comments. He's like, true research, true statistics. And he doesn't say anything. He just goes on a long rant for this. So as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I hope chess.com looks at the games. I hope they put something out there. I'm all for it. Of course they should, obviously. So yeah, I know Kramnik, I don't really know where this is coming from, honestly. It seems to me that for whatever reason it's become some kind of personal vendetta or something. But yeah, it's all very strange. But as I said, I've got nothing to hide. I hope chess.com looks at the games. I hope they put something out there. I hope they do. Because I know that I haven't cheated, and so it's just sad to see from Kramnik. That's the bottom line. Just very, very sad to see what he's doing. So That's pretty much all. My interactions with Kramnik have always been very good, by the way, very positive. He's always been a nice guy. So I don't really know. I don't know what this is about at the end of the day. But yeah, it's just sad. It's really sad. So, and also the other great part about this is literally all these streaks. Every single one of these streaks is on stream. Every single one of these streaks is on stream. So so it's amazing. Like they're all on stream. It's all out there. Everybody watches streams. You can watch my videos on YouTube. It just goes on and on and on. So yeah, it's about hype. Maybe, I mean, hype is the wrong word, but yeah, it's definitely disappointing. I know what Feingold has said as well, but yeah, I mean, I'll leave it to the authorities like chess.com to look at it. I mean, I would hope that FIDE can say something. That's broadly speaking. So maybe you should have second cam on screen. I actually, you know what's interesting, I have mentioned to chess.com that they should have 2 cams. Like I have mentioned that I think they should have 2 cams, but there are fundamental problems with that as well. So